Hello, fellow travelers, and welcome back to Descent to the Abyss, your weekly podcast about all things Teyvat. I'm your host, Aryn, and this is my co-host, Katie.
Hello.
Just as always, we spun a wheel, and you can tell from the title, the G in Tartalia is silent, that we got Griffin Burns' child.
You may know him as Tartalia, Ajax, the 11th Fatui Harbinger, part-time Abyss resident, or Shneznaya's #1 toymaker. If you're a longtime Genshin player, you might even know him as the bastard that never crits.
And then today we'll be discussing his backstory and why'd he get his vision.
Now, me and Aryn have both gotten Child in 1.2 when he came out, so we don't actually hate him, but building him was just a pain at that time. So
yeah, building him was a pain, and then right now he doesn't really scale that well with late game, but then we do like him as a character, just to preface that. So going into his backstory, he was named after a famous hero, Ajax from the Iliad, and then he is a middle child of 7, 3 older brothers, 2 younger sisters, and 1 younger brother. And then one day he wandered out on a journey and then fell into the abyss. There he met a swordswoman that taught him how to survive in the abyss. Although 3 months passed for him in the abyss, only 3 days had passed for his family when he returned. And then after that, he was constantly looking for a fight and was eventually sent to the Fatui by his father in the hopes that it would calm him down. Spoilers, it did not. After beating up a truly atrocious amount of people, he attracted the attention of the 5th Harbinger, Pulcinella, and eventually rose to be 11th Harbinger.
But despite all the information that we get from his story and his voice lines, we don't know how he got his vision. Unlike other characters, Child has a delusion story, not a vision story. Even his About Vision voice line doesn't hint as how he got it, just that he did at some point. The exact line is, "If it makes me stronger, I'll take it. Vision? Great. Delusion? Don't mind if I do. Heretical teachings from the Abyss? Sign me up."
Now, before we get into theory time, there's just a small disclaimer. No one really knows how people receive visions, because there's contradictory voice lines in the game where people say that the gods gave it to them, but then the gods themselves are unclear whether they even gave it out themselves or if they remember at all. And then it's kind of just pure speculation on the fandom's part, but we'll be operating under the assumption that there is a trend in what types of people get what types of visions.
So let's just take a step back here and look at all other Hydro characters. First up, Xingqiu. Again, it's unclear how he got his vision, but his vision story tells of how he used that vision to revitalize the Guhua clan and pursue the justice that he always wanted.
Now for Ayato, then he got his vision after he accepted the burden of the Kamisato clan, and then how he had to bring it up from ruin, and just bringing the family name back to its former glory.
Now, Barbara says that she gained her vision after she sang to a boy who was suffering from a fever. And it was the first time that she sang, and when she sang, it calmed him down, and the next day she woke up with a vision.
So for Kokomi, it's also very vague, because everything about visions is vague in this game, but then it's implied that she got her vision because she was so devoted to the will of her people as the divine priestess, and then her devotion to her people gave her a vision.
For Mona, also very unclear, but she was given one by her master, and the one that she was given was not glowing. But eventually, it started to glow, kind of similar to Ningguang, and in the end, all she was devoted to was finding about the truth of Teyvat.
So, what's the trend here? It seems that every character has a pure devotion to something. Xingqiu the chivalry and the Guhua clan, Ayato to the Kamisato clan, Barbara to helping people, and you get the point. For Child, it's to combat. They've all come to realize something within themselves and purely devoted themselves to that cause. And then for Child, then furthermore, he values people on the basis of combat skill and always seeks to become stronger. Theory time! One theory could be that he got it the moment that he came back to Teyvat from the Abyss, and then his raw devotion to combat spawned this vision. He's also dedicated to his family, so maybe the sense of purity that's associated with having a Hydra vision is his pure desire to protect his family, especially his younger siblings and their childhood. Because he frequently writes to his family about his travels and then tries to preserve his little brother's innocence as much as possible. The first of those seems to imply that he doesn't want him to be like the absentee brother, and then he wants to be engaged in their life. And then I think that could be the result of him being thrown into the abyss and then not being near his family for so long. And he was also like 13 or 14 at the time, so yeah, it makes sense.
And I think the first theory is consistent with how dismissive he is of his vision. Like, if he'd just come back from the abyss, the first thing he's probably gonna be thinking about is not the blue glowing rock next to him, but like, how much time has passed and has my family been looking for me? And his delusion being granted to him was probably more worth it in his mind because it helps him become stronger, and the vision... It's implied that the vision really doesn't do anything, really. And it also makes sense that he would get it at this time, especially if he's somehow, like, giving up a part of himself or realizes that he himself is different from his family because of his time in the abyss. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that.
So I think that overall, Child calls himself a living weapon, and then he's a weapon for his god, the Tsaritsa. But then, like, what makes him human is his dedication to his family. And then these two sides are both equally represented in two theories, showing the complexity of his character as a whole. And I just think that's cool that he is both a powerful weapon, but one that uniquely has a heart. Alright, next episode we'll probably spin a wheel again, so even we won't know what will be next. So stay tuned, travelers!